Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
And welcome to the future home of the Springfield Public Schools Culinary and Nutrition Center. We are so excited to be breaking ground. This is another promising and ambitious development here in the city of Springfield, one that's been a long time coming. And this groundbreaking today brings the vision one step closer to reality. My name is Azell Cavaan. I'm the Chief Communications Officer for Springfield Public Schools, and it's my honor and privilege to serve as your MC for the event today. Before we get started with our speaking portion of the program and move on to the most exciting part, which is the groundbreaking, I just want to read a little bit to you about the vision of this facility that you're in now. The vision was to build a state-of-the-art, multi-purpose culinary and nutrition center designed to produce high-quality food for Springfield Public Schools and surrounding communities, incorporating local purchasing, farm to school, student education, and economic development. A real catch-all. So we're going to get our program started. The Honorable Mayor Dominic Sarno could not be here today, but we are pleased to introduce in his stead Chief of Staff Denise Jordan. Please welcome her now.
Good afternoon. On behalf of our mayor, the people's mayor, the Honorable Dominic J. Sarno, I bring greetings from the city of Springfield. Today is an awesome occasion because we are opening a facility that's really going to mean a lot to the students of the city of Springfield. I want to congratulate Sodexo for being the consummate corporate sponsor. Sodexo has always been there for the students of the city of Springfield and for the city of Springfield. Today's facility is going to bring fresh food to our students. It's going to offer culinary training to our residents. They're going to be working closely with some of the students in our culinary food services program, and it's just a great day. I want to particularly say thank you to Mark Jeffrey and to Tim Gray for always being there for our students. All of you know that back in 2011 when we had the tornado, we had a lot of families in need in the city of Springfield. Sodexo stepped up to make sure that our residents had hot meals and had breakfast. They didn't care if they had students in the city or not, in the school system or not, because they are willing community partners that never say no whenever we need them. So to Sodexo, to the city of Springfield, and all of our partners, I want to say thank you for your commitment and your willingness to make sure that our children have quality food and they learn about the value of nutritious eating. Thank you so much.
And before you leave this event today, I hope that you will take time to take a look at the renditions that are surrounding us here today to get a real idea of what this facility is going to look like. When we say state-of-the-art, we mean state-of-the-art with processing centers, baking centers, state-of-the-art refrigeration, and so much more, which I won't go into because I'm sure Mark plans to talk about that. Next, I would like to welcome the Chief of Springfield Public Schools, the Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Dan Warwick.
Thanks, Azell. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to begin by just recognizing some of the public officials that are here. I hope I get all of these right, but some of the people who have come to this event that we'd like to recognize is School Committee Person-elect Maria Perez, School Committee member Norm Roldan, Marlena from Jose Tasado's office, representing Jose Tasado in the front row here, State Rep Carlos Gonzalez, School Committee member Chris Collins, School Committee member Denise Hurst, School Committee member-elect Latonia Naylor, and City Council President Orlando Ramos. Hoping we got everyone there. Just really excited to present this new facility to folks today. I think it's an amazing collaboration we have in the city of Springfield. I think this is a state-of-the-art endeavor that hasn't been done anywhere else in the country. So proud of the collaboration we have in the city of Springfield, led by our mayor, the people's mayor, Dominic Sarno. Always, we call him, I know the people call him the people's mayor. We call him the education mayor, because every time we have a project, be it a new building project or a facility like this, he always finds a way to say yes and finds a way to fund it. We also appreciate our city councilors who helped us with a bonding on this endeavor, and our school committee members who've been behind this project right from the beginning. We have an amazing partnership, and Denise alluded to it earlier, with Sodexo, our lunch provider. And I would say that the endeavors we've gone into with breakfast in the classroom and this farm to table program that we're going to move into now, we really have the best breakfast and lunch program in the country, and we're a model for the nation. And I thank my staff for that and our partnership with Mark, Jeffrey, and his team at Sodexo, because they've been absolutely incredible. We looked at the data as we've gone to this breakfast in the classroom program, and it's made a major impact in the schools. Kids are actually arriving on time to get into the breakfast. Sodexo and our staff has done an incredible job of organizing this, because at Central High School we have 2,100 students. You can imagine the logistical challenges getting all those breakfasts delivered and picked up in every classroom, but they've been very, very creative. We've made it work. We had the first high school in the Commonwealth and we're going to be the first school system in the Commonwealth to have every school on board with breakfast in the classroom, which we have now. This farm to table is increased participation. We're not only going to increase participation in the program radically, we're improving the quality, getting our kids the best fruits, vegetables, all the kind of food they ought to be eating. We've looked at our attendance rates and our students who are going home sick, and it's decreased dramatically since we've instituted the breakfast in the classroom program. So the things we're doing here, it's incredibly creative. I think the way we financed this endeavor was incredibly creative. By increasing the participation in the program, the revenue from the federal government we're using to pay off the bond. So for the citizens of Springfield, this is just a great deal also. But for our kids, it's improving the quality of life in all of our schools. And another thing with Mark, and just to reiterate what Denise said, they've not only been a great provider of our lunch and breakfast program, they're great corporate citizens. Every time we've had a problem in the community, they've been out there for us, the tornado, every other situation we faced, or out there providing scholarships for our kids every year. So they've just been a great corporate citizen, done a great job running the breakfast and lunch program, but they've just become an integral part of our community, so I can't say enough about them. But this is in a spirit of collaboration. There's so many entities that came together to make this work, and just very, very thankful to everyone. And it's nice to see Springfield as a leader in the country again. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dan. As you heard from the superintendent's remarks, Sodexo does an amazing job every day. They actually serve 43,000 meals daily. No small feat. And next we're going to hear from the Sodexo district manager who's servicing Springfield Public Schools in this region. Please welcome Mark Jeffrey.
Thank you very much. Those of you who know me, they've given me 2 minutes to speak. You know that is not an easy task for me, especially when we're talking about this 5-year journey we've been on for this celebration today. But good afternoon and welcome. I am honored to represent Sodexo at this historic event, and it truly is a historic event. Sodexo has been the food service solutions partner for Springfield Public Schools in the city of Springfield since 2006. Today we are groundbreaking for this state-of-the-art facility, the Springfield Culinary Nutrition Center. But we are also breaking ground in a new and innovative food service program designed to provide the highest quality child and nutrition program to the students attending Springfield Public Schools. This includes producing superior food by incorporating farm to school, local purchasing, economic development, student learning, and operational efficiencies. The center will not only revolutionize Springfield's program, it's going to revolutionize the school food service program in our industry. The first of its kind facility, it will produce menu components that will be incorporated into scratch cooking that's currently going on in our schools. The result is a fresh, consistent, and exceptional product. The center could also serve as an emergency resource center if an event such as the tornado that we experienced a number of years ago happens in Western Massachusetts again. Breakfast in the classroom is truly a Springfield success story. Springfield will be the first district in the Commonwealth to implement that program in all schools pre-K through 12 when Putnam Vocational High comes online in January. The New England Dairy Council and its farmers, along with the EOS Foundation, have supported and walked with us every step of the way by incorporating our Breakfast in the Classroom program. Another strong partner has been the Springfield Food Policy Council. The 5-year journey began with the need to source products to support the breakfast program, products that were age-appropriate, fit the nutrient pattern, were palatable to the students, and fit our budget. Not finding much to choose from in the marketplace, the decision was made that we needed to build a facility to make those products ourselves. And why stop there? Let's build a facility to support all aspects of the food service program. I want to personally thank Patrick Roach, Chief Financial Officer, and Tim Gray, Food Service Administrator, for sharing the vision and making this day a reality. Without their support, it would not have been. I also want to thank all of the school and city administration and elected officials. It would not be possible without your leadership and your support also. In closing, thank you for celebrating with us today and celebrating this 5-year journey with us. I would like to be the first to invite you to join us at the ribbon cutting ceremony 12 months from now. So let the construction begin.
All of the programs that Mark Jeffrey and Superintendent Warwick have mentioned have led to national recognition for Springfield Public Schools. And this fall, we received a case study. The results of a case study was published that really recognized the innovative techniques that Springfield Public Schools has been involved in a collaborative fashion to affect the nutritious intake and values and outcomes for Springfield Public School students. New England Dairy Council partnered to produce that case study, and I do invite you to go to the New England Dairy Council website and take a look at that study. There are some available here for you today on the tables with the black linens. If you would like to grab one on your way out, please feel free to do so. And next, please welcome to the podium the Northeast Regional Administrator for the National Department of Agriculture, Food and Nutrition Service, Mr. Kurt Messner.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Ms. Jordan, Superintendent Warwick, Director Gray, Director Jeffries, District Manager Rob Leshin, and all of our guests here today. Thank you. We're very excited to be here today to acknowledge and celebrate all of the work that Springfield and Sodexo has done here, not only with the development of this center, but also with all of our school programs. They are being recognized nationally. They are a leader nationally with school meals, with our summer meals, with farm to school. They have done a terrific job here in such a short time. This new center is designed to provide quality meals for their students. It incorporates local purchasing, farm to school, student educational opportunities, operational efficiencies, and economic growth for the community. USDA remains committed to providing schools and communities with the resources and flexibilities that they need to run successful programs and to help our children and teens grow into tomorrow's healthy and successful leaders. On behalf of all of us here at the USDA, congratulations to the City of Springfield and Sodexo, the school department and all of its state and local partners, and the citizens of this community for your extraordinary vision. Best wishes moving forward on this project. We all look forward to the ribbon cutting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Messner. We're so happy to have the representatives here from state and national agencies taking the drive out here to be with us today on this auspicious occasion. We're very excited about it. Please welcome up next to the podium the Director of the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, Officer for Food and Nutrition, Mr. Robert Leshin.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is certainly an exciting moment for the City of Springfield, Springfield Public Schools. It's a long-awaited day, many years in the making to get Springfield in this space right now. And as noted before, there's currently nothing like this out there in terms of a space, a multifunctional space for school food service, among other things, and how the City of Springfield is going to be utilizing this. And it was said before, but Springfield Public Schools, and especially the food service, is certainly pioneers. They're pioneers in many different things, and I just heard about the breakfast in the classroom. I was here at the Central High School with the USDA and Dairy Council, among others, and we were touring. I think there was 200 plus school classes in that building, the first secondary building, high school building, to do breakfast in the classroom. And it's not, you don't always see breakfast in the classroom being rolled out at a high school. And not only did they go ahead and do that with a high school, they picked a very extremely large high school, and it's been very successful since. And a credit goes to Tim Gray, the school nutrition director, as well as Mark Jeffrey. Where's Tim? Tim, if you can just stand up for a second, just to be recognized of all your efforts. And what's always impressed me is, as mentioned before, the partnerships and the multiple layers of partnerships. And first, it starts with the Springfield Food Service and their partnership with Sodexo, and that collaboration, the collaboration with Tim and Mark, as well as with the school budget office, with the City of Springfield and the superintendent, as well as with the city budget office. And you take all these entities together, and that's how you end up with the possibility of this building and to have all the different wonderful things that this building will provide going forward. And I will say, and I tip my hat, being the head lunch lady for the state, for the Director of Office of Food and Nutrition Programs, I tip my hat to a city this large and a school district that is this committed to school nutrition and to health and wellness of the students of this city. It's super commendable. You certainly don't see very often a city allocate funds for a project like this for school nutrition, and it's a wonderful thing. And it shows that the City of Springfield has definitely prioritized school nutrition and the health and wellness of the students, and they get it, and the City of Springfield gets that healthy students learn, and that hungry students do not learn as well. So with that being said, I already mentioned Tim and Mark. I also want to mention Pat Roach, the CFO of Springfield Public Schools, TJ Plant, the City of Springfield Director of Finance, for their work along the way, many phone calls, conference calls to ensure that the project's going well and all decisions are allowable and all of that. I want to also recognize Superintendent Warwick, who I didn't have the opportunity to meet before, and hopefully will. And I want to thank the superintendent for his commitment to food service, and of course the Mayor Sarno as well. So I want to say good luck to Springfield on the renovation of this project, and then I look forward to hearing all the updates along the way. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your remarks. We really appreciate that. I do want to draw your attention to the table in the back. on my left before you leave. It's going to give you a real example of how the food in the schools are going to improve once this center is up and running. It shows you some before and after meals, so please take a moment to see that on your way out. Our last speaker for the evening represents the Springfield Food Policy Council. She is the chairwoman of that council. Please welcome her to the podium now, Elizabeth Wills Ogilvie.
This is a really happy day. I come to you as the chair of the steering committee for the Springfield Food Policy Council, and I'm thrilled to see so many of our elected officials here, particularly those members of the school committee. School committee president Denise R has been a champion of food and fresh food. As long as I have known her, she has been incredible when I've talked to her about school gardens and community gardens, and always incredibly responsive. And it's always been clear to me that she understood the connection between food and health. My friends in public health helped me to understand that such social determinants of health have as much to do with our life outcomes as our genetics. I'm from Springfield, I'm from the Mason Square area. I was a free lunch kid. I grew up in the neighborhood for half my life. I went to kindergarten at DeBerry, and I teach school gardening there now. And social determinants of health are the places where we eat, live, work, and play. And so the only thing that our children don't do at school is sleep. And my 8-year-old Springfield Public School student likes to tell me, because he's heard me say that he wishes there was a little more play than work at school. But the point of that is our children spend so much of their awake time at school, and they are cared for by our teachers and our principals and by the people who feed them. And so if you consider that perhaps Black and Latinos are not at high risk for diabetes, hypertension, childhood obesity because of our race, but instead because of the conditions of the communities where we live our lives. And so when you change school food, you change the potential for health outcomes for children. You change the rapid rate of preventable disease. I was with a funder who cares deeply about public schools and public school food yesterday, and he asked me how I came to this work. And I told him, but then I realized that it had started much earlier when my husband was an assistant principal at Commerce High School and our son was a baby. We hadn't been married very long, and I was really into making him a good lunch. Administrators work very long hours. He left in the dark and he came home in the dark. And so I would make him a breakfast sandwich, and I would make him these really elaborate lunch sandwiches and pack 2 pieces of fruit and snacks. And he would still come home voraciously hungry, like, where's dinner? And I'd say, well, didn't you eat your lunch? And he'd say, oh, yeah, it was good. But I was suspicious because he shouldn't have been as hungry as he was. And so I started asking really specific questions about the sandwich, which he could never answer. So then one day I put a Post-it in the middle of the sandwich because I didn't believe he was eating the sandwiches. And he came home and said, why was there paper in my sandwich? And I said, oh, you ate it. He said, no, one of my kids found it. And I said, you've been giving your food away? And I castigated him for a few minutes about the effort that I put into this lunch. And he said to me, Liz, I can't eat those lunches. My kids are hungry. And he was the assistant principal in charge of discipline, so he saw a lot of kids when they were in trouble. And they'd come in and he'd have an apple on his desk, or he'd have grapes on his desk, and they would be looking at them longingly, and he would offer them, and then he began to realize that half of the kids who were getting in trouble because they were cranky, because they hadn't had any breakfast. And so I said, well, Ed, why aren't they filling out the breakfast application, the free breakfast and lunch application? And he talked about the barriers that were around that application, the paperwork, and some of the parents not having high literacy skills. And that's when it really hit me. What was the impact of being hungry on kids? That was in 2010. And so when our district labored to become a community that was eligible because of our poverty threshold, and they ensured that every single kid in our district could eat breakfast, and every single kid could eat lunch for free without any barriers, That was a huge, huge impact. And then, when our district moved to breakfast in the classroom and took away the shame that came with standing in line to get breakfast, or took away the barrier of not getting to school on time, so that kids are eating breakfast in the classroom with their peers after the bell. My friends who are school nurses told me that they see anywhere from 24 to 30% less kids that are hunger-related visits every day. So we've been way up here in our heads, but I hope I'm getting you in your body. I want you to really feel the difference that this is going to make in our kids' lives. We have salad bars in every single school, and I know kids who that is the only fresh produce they eat during the day. When we have poverty thresholds that are high enough that our whole city can qualify for free breakfast and lunch, that tells you a lot about our families. This food is core food for our children, and the efforts that my friends, and they are my friends in ways that they have no idea, Pat Roach and Tim and Mark, are making on behalf of our children move me to my core. And we have big development happening all over Springfield, but we're going to have 40 new jobs because of this. And these are going to be jobs of people who are our neighbors, who are the parents of our children, and they are going to be feeding our children. And we're a big city, but we're a small little town. And I feel really proud when I see the grandmother in my neighborhood wearing her Sodexo shirt at the baseball games where her grandson and my son play on. And my son can point to her and say, "That's Miss So-and-so, and she makes sure that I have milk every day." And he gets what he needs at home, but for the kids who don't, feel what that must feel like. And this summer, Mark, Chef Aaron, the dietitian Erica sat down with high school students from Springfield and from Holyoke. They brought them here, we brought them here, and they got to see where food was going to be prepared, and they got to hear about career pathways for themselves. And they got to meet people who had jobs like chefs and dietitians and could begin to vision for themselves in the way that many of us had the opportunity to, but many people don't. So I want our elected officials to know that this development is going to have impact far beyond what a casino or an innovation center or any other development might be having. This is neighborhood, this is community, this is people's health and people's lives, and I will hug Pat Roach at the fence when I see him with my son every time I see him because of today. And I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful for what we're doing for our children in the city of Springfield. And Springfield should be very, very proud of itself. We find ourselves on crazy lists all the time, but we are topping a brand new list today. And so all of you need to give yourselves a round of applause and be very, very proud of what we're doing. And Mr. Snap Chef is in the audience. Put your hand up, because I'm going to hold him accountable to hire every single kid who comes through this culinary training center program. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Liz, for bringing us back to center and reminding us what this is really about and the real impact that this is going to have on the kids that live in our homes, that walk on our streets, that come to our churches, that play in our playgrounds, our kids. So thank you for that. We are going to move on to the most exciting part of the program, the groundbreaking. Many of you said thank you so much that Sodexo chose to bring this indoors as opposed to outside on such a cold, frigid day. But I am now going to ask all of our guest speakers to please come to the mound of dirt, don a construction hat, a hard hat. I'm also going to ask to come forward Pat Roach, Peter Garvey, Dave Fontaine, TJ Plant, Tim Gray. If you guys could please come forward. Okay, so on the count of 3, you guys are going to gently toss the dirt in front of the mound. Okay? 1, 2, 3.